Hey everybody, Prepper Nurse 1 here. Today is Monday, September 18th, 2017. As you can see, it is very, very overcast today. Very overcast. Let's see what time of the day it is right now. It's 5 o'clock right now. So I'm going to take you in here and I'm going to show you. This is just going to give you an example. Now it's been overcast all day long, okay? So we have 1.6 kilowatt hours brought in on this one so far, and we are still bringing in power. This one has 1.8. So we're at 3.4 kilowatt hours on the day. So not horrible. I mean, we'd always like to have better, but we have what we have. But even on a cloudy day with no sunshine, you're still bringing in the power. When it's raining, that's when it really diminishes. And there is Miss Bella. There's Heather's cat. She's a little tiny petite thing. Aren't you, baby girl? Yes. And there's Miss Soxy over there. She's the boss of everything. Okay, but so anyway, I just kind of wanted to show you that's kind of what happens. Yesterday, I did absolutely nothing. We did get our third load of wood came in, so all this here has got to be split, obviously. So we have all this wood here. It's about 3 face cord altogether, and we'll get that split up and we'll get it stacked up and we'll get that all squared away. But anyway, I wanted to do this video while it's fresh in my mind, and I wanted to talk about it and this is basically, I'm going to focus this video on fellow preppers, okay? Especially fellow preppers in Texas and in Florida. Some probably in Georgia too, but the majority of you that were affected the most would excuse me, would be in Florida and would be in Texas, okay? So let's focus the video on you guys, and also hopefully to some new people that because of recent events a light bulb has gone off in their head and they've started to think about what they want to do. But let's go with my fellow preppers first, okay? Look at this event that have just happened is a wonderful test. Now why would I call it a wonderful test? I'm going to call it a wonderful test because a true SHTF globally or countrywide has not happened at this point. So you were able to take this event, live through a very traumatic, a very hard experience, an SHTF situation for your area, okay? But now what you're able to do is you're going to be able to tweak your preps. You found out what worked, what didn't work, where you were lacking in your preps, what you need to work on. One of the comments that I saw, a lady said that I believe it was a lady, so please don't get me wrong. I'm sorry if I said it wrong, but they're down in Florida, and they rode the storm out because they had a house that was built in the 50s, so it's pretty solid. And they said that the one thing that they were lacking on was communications. They said, you know, they did fine otherwise, everything else was okay, but there was no way to communicate with the outside world to let family and friends know, and that they had like 4 different welfare checks where people came and checked on them to see if they were okay and make sure they were okay due to concerns of family members. So obviously they're going to take that lesson and figure out what they need to do to make sure that they have some form of communication in case of a future event, okay? So that's important. I also heard other people say that they need to amp up on their solar and get that in better situation. But the thing is, this is awesome in the aspect of it gives you guys a test to find out what works, what doesn't work as far as your preps go. What you need to tweak, what you need to do better because of this type of an event. Now let's imagine, guys, this was a complete worst case scenario, end of the world as we know it. You know, it's going to give you a whole different perspective of what you need to do better in the future. Now I know I read one comment where somebody was saying that he had gone to check out, and like the neighbors had laughed at him because he prepped and stuff like that, and his wife was giving away the preps, a lot of their stuff, to the neighbors. Well, you know, I believe in helping out a little bit if you can, especially in this type of situation where you know it's not going to be a permanent situation, but you can't give away the farm, okay? And especially if people were laughing at you, maybe it's time for them to learn a hard lesson in life, that maybe they need to wake up. I'm pretty sure that some people woke up because of these events, okay? And if you're one of the new people that woke up from this event, get yourself squared away, be ready, learn your lesson from what happened. Now sadly, and I do say this, and I'm sincere when I say this, sadly, most of the people will have learned absolutely nothing from this event. They will continue to panic. They will continue to not think rationally, will not have enough gas on hand, will not have enough food and water on hand. And again, guys, you have to prep for where you live. I mean, if you live in an area where you know that hurricanes are going to happen... Well, hold on a second. Who's that stranger? Say, hey, Bubba Lub, how we doing? You being a good boy? Yeah. There's old Maxie. He's getting so freaking tall. But anyway, you know, they're not learning their lessons. People are not going to learn. People just are continuing to continue to do the same thing that they've always done. Wait to the last minute. I also heard people were returning prep items like batteries, flashlights, even some canned food, plywood or whatnot to the stores to get their money back. It doesn't make any rational sense to me. It really truly doesn't. Some people are never going to learn. They're just never going to learn. So the thing is, we have to, as preppers, make a choice of who we're going to help and who we're not going to help. And it really comes down to that, guys, because, you know, basically what I've said at this point, where I'm at with what I'm doing here, there are 4 people that I know that are never going to go without a meal, okay? And that's Eddie, Heather, myself, and my sister Margie. Those are the 4 people that I guarantee you are not going to go without food. And you ask me, well, Ed, why is that? Why? Because I have sacrificed my butt off and put a lot of food away. My sister has brought up a ton of food up here as well, okay? Now, do I plan on helping other people out that are going to come to me? Of course I am. But the thing is, it's like, you're going to have to look at what you have, and you're going to have to say, okay, rationed out. Now, that's one of the first things you're going to have to do, guys, is figure out how long will this food last for how many people. So that's real important to do, you know, ahead of time, is really look at your situation, look at what you have, look at how able you are to actually give charity if you can. You know, how long is the event going to last? What you know, what are the circumstances of it? Is it a SHTF situation for just your area, like it's happening, you know, down here in Florida, or is it, you know, the entire United States or the entire world? I mean, that's going to give you a whole different perspective of the way you have to look at stuff. We've also learned a lot of valuable lessons, obviously, from this situation. There are some really awesome people out there, and there's some really lowlifes out there. But, you know, that's going to happen. You know, what you have to realize is that you have to learn from these type of events. If they affect you directly, you learn from them, and you say, okay, what can I do to make my life better for next time? And here's the thing is, guys, and I'm going to be honest with you, myself personally, I just don't want to survive whatever's going to happen. I want to thrive. Okay, so what's the difference with that? I want to be able to have all the creature comforts that I've always had. I don't want to have to sacrifice that much, but if I'm prepared enough ahead of time, yeah, some things will change. What would change? For us, okay, maybe we don't have internet anymore, okay? You know, I don't have to go to work anymore, you know, those type of situations. Now, here's another example of that is somebody had asked me about what my thoughts were on the 8 people that died in that nursing home in Florida when only 2 staff members stayed and everybody else left. I think it was like 240 residents, no air conditioning, whatever it was, for however many days, and you had that much loss of life. That's a small snippet of what would happen in a worst case type of situation. That's just a small piece of it. Oh, here comes Mr. Lucy. Mr. Lucy! Hi. Yeah, that's a good boy. That's a good boy. The reality is, even if in an event like this, people are going to bail. They're going to bail. All right? They're going to think of themselves first. They're going to think of their families first, which in reality, most people, that's how it should be. If you have kids at home and all stuff like that, that family member needs to come first, okay? But with that being said, it's unfortunate these people lost their lives. But in a worst case scenario, you would have there would have been 240 of them gone right there in that one nursing home. That's reality, guys. That's what we got to really look at. You have to look at the situation of what is going to be the best course of action for you, for your family. You do what you have to do, okay? Learn your lessons. Fellow preppers, listen to me. Find out what you did wrong. Find out where you were lacking. Make sure that you correct those mistakes so that the next time the next event happens, that it's going to be even better for you. Now, I'm sure a lot of my fellow preppers down there in Florida and also in Texas, especially the Houston area, you know, you've learned, okay, this worked great, we did great with this, but this is what was lacking. So correct those mistakes. Take this as a test. Take it for what it is and go, man, okay, we did good, but this is what we could do better for next time. Work on that. Make it better so that when that true SHTF situation happens, you are so ready to go, you know, that you are, no matter what happens after that, you can survive, not only survive, but thrive. That's the key, guys. Surviving is surviving, but thriving is what we really want to do. We want to really live, and that's what it's about, okay? That's what prepping is all about. And, you know, people continue to laugh, and I'm sure that they will, but that's okay. You know what? I'm sure some people woke up. I'm sure not enough of them. You know, you would think that people would realize, holy crap, I really need to be better prepared for next time. But to be honest with you, most of them won't. And that's a shame. It's just it's a shame, and it's a freaking waste. But it is what it is, and that's how it goes. So what are you going to do? There's nothing really you can do. Anyway, I wanted to get this out here while I was thinking about it, because I was starting to catch up on comments. I was way behind. I was 3 days behind. Now I'm only 2 days behind. I'm going to go back in and answer more comments now. But, you know, I really want you guys to think about this. Prepare in your minds. Look at your situation. Look what you went through, what worked, what didn't work, and make those corrections. And just be thankful that this was just a test and not the true SHTF worldwide type of situation, because there's no fixing those mistakes once that event happens. So, and again, you know, a lot of people say, well, what would happen, you know, like with what happened with Harvey if you had to bug out where you are? And I've said it before, guys, it's location, location, location. I picked my property location very strategically because there's no flooding up here. If the flooding happens, it's all going to be down in the valley, and if it flooded up this high, like I said, we better be waiting for the ark to pick us up, because we're really, really high up here. So that is not an issue as far as that goes in my situation. So I'm really lucky in that. But the thing is, I also planned ahead. I picked my property very strategically. You couldn't pay me to live on the coast, okay? You could not pay me to live someplace where you have to deal with, you know, like I said, with hurricanes. I don't want to be near the water. I don't want to be near the river, because you're dealing with flooding then. I don't want to live down in a valley, again, because of flooding. I mean, it's just, you have to think about these things very logically, very smartly. I don't want to have to rebuild all this again. This is taking long enough to get to where we are now. And so those are things you got to think about, okay? But anyway, guys, listen, I hope everybody's doing well, and you know, everybody's safe. I hope everybody's week is starting out well. I think tomorrow we're supposed to have more sunshine, which would be nice, but we'll see how it all goes. All right, guys, listen, remember, hug and kiss the ones you love. Tell them every day tomorrow is not guaranteed. You never know what's going to happen. And remember, guys, STD, it's one step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Work at what you need to work at. Fix what you need to fix. Do what you need to do. Work at it methodically, and you will get it done. You really, truly will. and I will talk to you all tomorrow. Prepper Nurse 1 out for now.